What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel with your host that does the absolute most, spiritual intellectual 777 here once again, coming at you guys from the house of greatness. And in today's video, it's going to be something a little different. You know what I mean? It's going to be a confessional type of video. And really what inspired me to make this video, and by the way, I do apologize for not releasing a video on Friday like I promised to. I was working on my online course behind the scenes, and speaking of that, go ahead and click the link in the description below to go ahead and check it out and go roll in it. Tell me what you think. I've just been really, really learning about a lot about myself throughout the weekend and even today. The universe was basically giving me a huge tower moment. Basically when I came home, I sat down and I unpacked everything and I was relaxing for a couple hours, and then it started going downhill when my aunt and cousin came home and they were discussing with me like, when you going back to school? And I'm like, oh man, please, not this again. I don't want to go through another round of just getting into it with them. And I was just telling my significant other, like, look, I don't want to get into an argument with them. I don't want to get into fights with them. Just basically laying the groundwork for attracting chaos into my reality. And as I've been talking about on this channel, and as other spiritual gurus from the past and the present talk about now, is that whatever you focus on grows. And because I was focusing on what I didn't want, it's like things started going downhill from there because I was feeding it my energy. And then as my mom got home, I was also discussing with her, as she asked me the question, like, when does school start for you? And again, I was like, oh Lord, here we go again. Like, I've already went through this whole argumentative spiel during Thanksgiving about them lecturing me about college. I told her January 13th, and I told her the truth that day that I took my last final, which was on Friday, December 6th, I told her that I signed out of my dorm contract, and she just really got pissed off and went ballistic. And I was just like, Mom, why are you upset right now? I already told you months back that I was dropping out of college. And by the way, I actually did drop out of college. I actually had the bravery and the balls to do it. But the thing was, I didn't have a plan in place. And here's where it starts really going downhill. So she basically is asking me how you gonna pay all this stuff off? Do you have a plan in place? And I was like, yes, I already have a couple of income streams set up. I have my online course set up and this, that, and the third. And so she did what she usually did and just called up all my family members, and then they gave me this whole lecture, and there was just this whole chaotic energy, and they was just telling me about my cousin Joe that recently got shot, which RIP to cousin Joe. It's sad that happened to him. It was just a really chaotic situation, and because I didn't handle myself accordingly, and I didn't apply what I learned in that moment from what I learned from my significant other, who's also a life coach, by the way. Go ahead and click the link to her social media in the description below to go book your session with her. I allowed all of that chaos energy around me to engulf me and to throw me off my path. And it just led to me just really getting angry and frustrated, and I stormed out the house. I slammed the door. I took my charger with me, and I was talking with my significant other, and I was basically saying, man, why are they doing this BS again? I don't deserve this and this and that. And I was basically was relying on her to help me calm down, because I allowed myself to get involved in the chaos and get lost in the sauce and just really just lose my shit, pardon my French and whatnot. If you don't like profanity, I apologize for that. But anyways, as I was saying, I lost my cool and I allowed myself to get engulfed in the chaos. And instead of rising above it, I allowed myself to sink deeper and deeper and deeper into that quicksand. And she was just really just coaching me through it. Just breathing out, baby. Just remember, this is only temporary. And to be fair, you already knew this was coming, and I told you to have a plan in place, to go ahead and start applying for jobs from the get-go and start finding ways to make other income streams so that when you do go home, that you don't start dealing with all of this stuff. Because I didn't take heed to her advice, this whole thing went down. And I was just really kicking myself and really just pretending, like, not actually kicking myself and punching the air. I was more or less metaphorically punching the air and just really kicking myself for not taking heed to the advice. Why? Because I was comfortable. I allowed my comfort zone to really slow me down. I allowed my ego to say, okay, dude, you ain't got to really do nothing. You ain't really got to take no steps forward. All you got to do is just like keep doing what you've been doing. And eventually, like, the universe or God or some outside force is going to step in and really just rescue you from the situation. Because I've been so ingrained with this mindset that someone will always step in and take up for me, that when these situations did arise, I didn't have a plan in place, and I've allowed myself to get backed into a corner. And so it's like now I'm truly starting to see myself for how I actually am, and seeing that my actions and my words were completely different, and I wasn't living in integrity like I was supposed to. And I just allowed myself to get so comfortable where I was and to get lost in the college matrix and in the family matrix, that I've allowed that to slow down my momentum a little bit that I've been building up this whole time, and I lost focus. And I say all this to say that you can't lose focus out here, guys. When you are constantly growing and growing and growing and progressing in your life, there is always going to be that temptation to want to settle into a comfort zone and to want to slow it down because it's too much unfamiliarity going on. And just like Marissa Peer talked about, is that the mind really does not like what is unfamiliar. And so it's going to do whatever it can to sabotage your efforts from moving forward, because everything appears to be comfortable and cozy, only to realize later that your ass should have been working on getting yourself out of your situation from the get-go. And it's like, I'm going through a lot of growing pains right now as we speak. And these growing pains are just really seeing how much do I really want it, because that's what the universe is asking me right now. It's like, Ev, you say that you want out of this shitty situation. You say that you want to change. You say that you want to get closer to God or your higher self, so to speak. You say you want to get closer to your mate. You say that you want all of these things, but have you really taken the action steps to support that decision? And that right there has caused me to not want to face myself. And I said, damn, I really have not been acting in integrity like I was supposed to. I really haven't taken the action steps like I was supposed to. Because why? I gotten too comfortable. And that's the mistake that we all make in life, that we realize too late, is that your comfort zone will literally cripple your ass. And the more that you stay comfortable, the less time that you actually have to actually build up that momentum to keep moving forward in your life so that you can really receive what you want. And I remember I was watching a portion of one of Bob Proctor's videos, and I'll go ahead and link that in the description below, where he was talking about how we think that we make decisions, but when it comes to the big decisions, we don't really decide nothing. We decide to not decide, right? Because even indecision is a decision. When you're deciding to not make a move towards your dreams, when you decide not to make a move towards your crush, when you decide not to make a move towards financial freedom, when you decide not to make a move towards an opportunity that you know that can really help transform your life for the better, then you're choosing to stay stuck right where you are. And I found out about myself that one of the hardest things to grasp for me is the fact that I do create my own reality. And even though I done made a crap ton of content about that in the past, I didn't truly believe it. I didn't truly implement it in my life. I didn't truly embody that in my day-to-day life because I was still being passive. I was still submitting to other people. I was still allowing myself to basically just be ran all over on by the energy around me and just engulfing myself in the energy around me instead of transmuting it and staying protected, so to speak, and protecting my own energy. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is that it is my fault that I've gone through all of these situations. But you know what? I made a promise to myself, and I made a commitment to not only make those promises, but to also keep those promises. And if I have to, I gotta will myself through that temptation of wanting to stay comfortable. That's what we all gotta do in life. And this has been one of the biggest tower moments in my life. Yes, I've had previous tower moments, But this one thus far feels like my biggest one yet. That I'm being called to truly shift my whole personality, to truly transform myself like I was supposed to a long time ago, and to actually step in to my authenticity fully more and more and more, and to stop allowing my ego to talk me out of these otherwise amazing opportunities. And another thing that, I've learned about myself is that whenever the universe will hand me my blessings on a silver platter, it's like, okay, Evan, you say you want this, here you go. I immediately go, poof, slap the universe's hands out of my way and say, no, I'm not ready yet. It's not the right time. I ain't got the funds together. I don't feel worthy and this and that. Just basically just blocking all of my blessings like the Kimbi Mutombo back in the day, where he would block everybody's shots and say, no, 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 not today. That's basically what I was doing to myself. I was blocking my own blessings. And then I wonder why I'm sitting on this couch. I'm gonna demonstrate to you. I'm sitting on this couch like this, like, oh my God, like, not this shit again. Why am I going through this? Why am I going through this bullshit? Why does this shit keep happening to me? Why? And just basically feeling frustrated within myself. But the sad part was, I was creating this shit. We create our own misery, and we create the chaos that's in our life. Because the fact of the matter is that we're all creators of our own reality. Until we truly grasp and realize that fact, we will continue to freaking suffer. And we're the only ones that can make that switch just like that. It only takes that quick switch right in the moment for our lives to change forever. But we have to make that internal shift ourselves and practically decide that shit's gonna change. And once we decide that shit's gonna change, there is no mountain that's gonna be too big for us to climb. And our ego is just gonna move the fuck up out the way. Sorry for dropping that bomb. It's gonna move out the way. And the universe has no choice but to say, okay, this person's serious this time. This person is really about their business. And so they start flooding you with all these opportunities, and you actually partake in the opportunities, and you actually start seeing your life change for the better. Why? Because you've decided right now that you wanted to change, and that you took action steps immediately afterwards. See, it's not enough for us to sit around and to say that we want change. We actually have to take action steps that are in support of what we're saying. And another thing that I learned about myself too, alongside of just being passive and wanting something from nothing, was the fact that I still had hints of this entitlement mentality that, oh, I'm a good person. I've done this and I've done that. I've never done anything wrong, and I deserve this and that. And the universe is like, well, what the hell have you done to show us that you really want this shit? and I just had to sit there and say, wow, I've acted like such an ass. I've acted like such an entitled asshole. And I've expected the universe to do this, that, and the third for me without me putting any legwork on my end, just like I did with filmmaking. You see, with filmmaking, I was willing to go all in. I bought a whole bunch of books. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos. I started networking my butt off. I even spent like $1,000-something on my own video and sound equipment. And I even invested $400 into this 2011 MacBook Pro, which I'm recording on right now. And I've invested in all of these tools to make sure that I got my dream up off the ground. And so the question is that why haven't I applied that into other aspects of my life? Why did I choose to stay stuck, knowing damn well I could have easily moved forward and I could have easily been where I wanted to be? But no, I decided to stay my ass right here and to be comfortable and to do the same old monotonous shit that I've been doing for the past few years that has not really gotten me anywhere that I wanted to be, and then just complaining my ass off that opportunities are not unfolding the way that I want them to. But the fact of the matter was, I was just fucking scared to make a move. That's all it was. It was just fear crippling me to where I am right now. And I'm working right now as we speak through this to overcome that conflict of wanting to stay where I am versus wanting to move forward. And I describe to my significant other as I'm shadow boxing with myself. But the only reason that I'm doing it is because I subconsciously want to stay in my comfort zone and I don't want to change. But it's like I'm just now working on overriding that program that's been inside of my head all of these years, because I noticed that when I'm in the family environment, I'm in an environment around my family, my whole personality changes and I start falling back into old patterns of being submissive, of not voicing what I want, of not being my true authentic self. And I remember hearing this episode by Ed Milet where he was talking about how when we live our lives, we tend to split ourselves into these different people. We're one person at work, and we're another person at school. We're another person by ourselves, and we're another person with our family. We're another person with our significant other. And we basically keep splitting ourselves into these different selves instead of embodying our full authenticity, no matter what environment that we're in, because that's a sign of spiritual maturity and that we have fully evolved into our greatest version. Is when we can just be our authentic self no matter where the hell we are. We can speak our truth. It doesn't matter who we offend or who looks at us crazy. It is what it is. And so, yeah, I just say all this to say, like, we have to look at ourselves and we really have to be brutally honest with ourselves and ask ourselves, are we really living our truth? Are we really taking action steps that we know we need to do in order to move forward? Do we really want it as bad as we say we do? Or are we too busy immersing ourselves in our comfort zones to even pull our heads out of our butts to truly see it? And are we truly self-reliant, or are we calling up our best friend or our significant other, whoever we trust, the minute we have an anxiety attack and the moment we start experiencing great stress? And it's like our actions that define our character, not our words. Because a 2-year-old can say that they want to change their life. And so with that being said, that doesn't make it any valuable, because a 2-year-old knows how to talk. Hell, even an 11-month-old baby knows how to speak words in full sentences. So that goes to show you that talking really doesn't matter. It's about your actions, and it's about how you carry yourself in your day-to-day life. And with that being said, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that this video was a wake-up call, as it was for me this whole weekend. I hope that this is a catalyst moment right now in your life and it helps you make better decisions. And if you've enjoyed this video and you're brand spanking new to this channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell right next to it so you get notified every single Friday that I upload videos at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And also, I'm doing something new in terms of building a community with my audience on YouTube. So I'm forming a Facebook Messenger group, not a Facebook group, but a Messenger group, to where you can interact with me in real time and ask me questions and suggest video ideas to me and give me feedback on my videos. So the link to that group will be in the description below. And also make sure to go ahead and copy some merch if you haven't done so right now, by go ahead and checking out all the merchandise in my merch store right now if you support the 8 Meal Productions brand. And like I said, if you do need a life coach to help you work through all of your issues and help you heal up, make sure to go ahead and click the link to her social media right now, ASAP. Book your session. She is real great at what she does, and she loves what she does, and she is just incredible at it. She's naturally talented and gifted. If you don't take advantage of this opportunity that I'm giving to you, then that's your ass. You know, it's out of my hands at this point. I already gave you the opportunity. Now it's up to you to do something with it. And also, if you're interested in learning about my fundamentals of videography and filmmaking course, then the link to that course will be in the description below, and you can just go ahead and enroll in it, take it. It's not even that long. It's like 1 hour and 6 minutes. It's basically a quick crash course on video. With that being said, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button, and make sure to go share this with your friends and family that you believe need to hear this message. Peace in and out with the highest vibes. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this talk that I've had with you today, and I'll see you guys next Friday.